Shreya Jay, the third year MBBS student, and I bring to you the second episode of Friend or Foe, a complete guide to reading your standard textbook. And now we come to my most favorite textbook of all time, at least till third year what I've read, is Robbins. This is the South Asia version, and as you can see, it is quite battered up. I have used and abused this book, and it has been the best investment I did in my second year. And believe it or not, it has helped me so much in answering questions even to date. The concepts are so crystal clear. So let's start. I'll give you the pros and cons and how to approach the book and how to make best use of it, how to answer questions and some general tips as well. If there's one thing that I would want you to take away from these books and this video is that please read General Patho from Robbins. I feel like it's so conceptual, you understand everything so much better, and it will help you in maybe all subjects, clinical subjects that you'd write in the future. So yeah, let's start. So we'll start with the pros. The pros is that it is the best conceptual book, as I told you. I mean, you read this once or you revise it a couple of times and the concept is so crystal clear in your mind that, anytime you are asked about a particular concept, there's something that you're able to write. So that's one thing. The second thing is that it integrates a lot of subjects. I do understand that final year mostly focuses on management, but I also firmly believe that the etiopathogenesis is a foundation for how you will manage the patient. If you don't know what exactly is going wrong with the disease, how will you manage it? So getting a deeper understanding of all the diseases is also so good in Robbins. And at a time where autoimmune diseases are increasing, when there's more and more amount of diabetes and hypertension and non-communicable diseases that are on the rise, it becomes even more important to understand the etiopathogenesis. So that's another point. Then it is easy to recall. Give me a minute, I'll explain. So you got to read this book a couple of times, maybe revise it 2 times as well. But once you get it done, at least the general patho portions, that it comes to immunity, all those things, it is so much easier to recall because their diagrams are beautiful, which brings me to my next point. The diagrams are the ride and die. You have to draw these diagrams, especially from general patho. All of the mechanisms, it is so beautifully given in Robbins, and plus the explanation that is under those diagrams, you can get the entire concept in just a few lines if you've read it once. So that also becomes easy. So, but you got to draw and practice it. While looking at it, you'll be like, okay, it's going to be easy to reproduce, but you got to practice it a couple of times, and then it becomes muscle memory at that time. Then next advantage is obvious. I mean, for all the entrance exams, Robbins is your go-to tool. They use this as a basis to frame questions. And integration also comes from this book. It might not just be about pathology in this book, it might also have bits of other subjects which can also be included in your exams. This was my first standard book that I read in my college life. I unfortunately was not able to read Guyton. I did not know that it would be this enjoyable to read, honestly. I have it, but I was not able to read it. But Robbins was my perfect introduction to the future books like Bailey. We can talk about Davidson, Harrison, and all of those really conceptual heavy books, which are harder to swallow, but this, makes it a bit easier. Coming to the cons, one, as you can see, it is quite bulky and it might be difficult to carry around. So I recommend you keep it in your hostel room or your house and you read it there, because carrying it around is not very, ideal, and it might break your back. But have it at home or have it in your hostel room where you can go through it daily. Second thing is that you need a little bit base of English, but I think that the basic English that you're taught in school is much more than enough, and this also helps building your language and help present your paper in a better way. For the exam purposes, this might not be completely enough to revise. I feel like before the exams you need to give this a read, and then during exams you can focus on other texts which can condense all the points of Robbins, or you can note down the extra points and all of that, then use it for your exams. So next part is how to get the best out of this book. One of my senior, actually he studied with me, but he's my senior in terms of, he didn't take a job. Shout out Choran, he told me that after each paragraph, if you can annotate the paragraph in your simple words, this will be really helpful during exams. So that has been supremely fun. I mean, the thing is that, they'll have a big paragraph, and in order to condense that information, you need to have a good hold on the topic. So that is a great tip. That's one thing. And then next thing is that, there are so many diagrams. There are huge diagrams. can you see, they have huge diagrams. So if you can actually make note of the points in the text also within the diagrams, that will also help you, so you don't have to read the entirety of the text during the exams as well. And two other sources that I would recommend. One is that I use Harshmohan for the drawable HNE diagrams. I did not, I was not a huge fan of the conceptual part of that book, but the drawable HNE diagrams are so easily replicable, so I would recommend you check that out, or you can just make a separate PDF. That's what I did for all the HNE diagrams that you would require, and it makes a very good impression on the examiner when you understand the whole gross and micropathology. And I also use Ramdas was really a lifesaver during my exams. After I would read my Robbins and get and extract all the extra information, the conceptual knowledge, I would use Ramdas to get my side headings and the correct points down. That can also be integrated with the information of Robbins. So that's one thing. If you might have read Robbins, you'd notice that the gross and microscopy is written in a way, it's in a paragraph form, which might not be easy for you to revise during exams. So what you can do is convert those highlighted points into just a sticky note, write it down and write the reason. And another super tip that I'd really recommend you do, for example, in thalassemia you see target cells. When you draw the microscopic pathology of it, if you are able to tell why those target cells are formed, which is due to disproportionate cell membrane to volume ratio, so it helps you convey to the examiner that you understand why that cell is also formed, because it is very easy for someone to just draw the diagram as it is, and it's quite easy to memorize as well. Convey this to the examiner, okay, that you know why exactly a type of cell is formed there. It is supremely useful for you, and it will be a point that really jumps out of your paper and will get you brownie marks. So that's one thing. So what I did to read Robbins was that I would read 10 pages a day. Not on all days. Obviously, there were days where I was not free and I would, take a break and all of that. But try to read it regularly. If discipline is something that you struggle with, like I did, have an accountability partner. My accountability partner was my mother. So, she would just ask me every day ki how many pages you've read. And on the days that you have extra time, read more pages. And it's genuinely an enjoyable book once you get past that initial hesitation of the, heaviness of the language that's presented to it. Another golden tip that I'd like to give you is that explain to your friends. I can give you an example of myself. I've explained hematology, I've explained immunology, neoplasia to so many people. I would condense it to like 2 hours worth of things that I would understand from Robbins. And that way, you solidify the concept in your brain. Like, there's a point of gatekeeping, right? You should always share your information. So just teaching people has helped me so much. Even the diagrams I try to explain and, help them draw it with me. Or, and that would go both ways. If I needed help in anything, I would also seek help from somebody else who would explain a bigger concept to me in a smaller, consumable form. So that is also very important. So yeah. I would like to end by saying, trust me, once you find this book, there is no going back. You will definitely fall in love with this book. I love it, and it has helped me score like really good marks. I think I scored about 85% in pathology, which was really surprising to me, but it was also reassuring that all the hours that I put into understanding pathology were totally worth it. So yeah, I would want you to like and subscribe, and also comment if this video was helpful to you, and stay tuned for episode 3. Bye!